Hello, welcome back. I have a very exciting episode with a guest who I absolutely love. I've connected with her a few times now, and she just lights me up, and I just feel like I connect with her as a fellow Northern gal. She now lives in the south of France, and her name is Helen Geay. Helen is a life coach who helps people to heal their trauma through somatic healing practices so that they can get to the root of the blocks, limiting beliefs, and things holding them back in life. She specializes in reprogramming the subconscious mind, inner child healing, womb healing, and masculine and feminine energetics. Awakening your feminine energy and healing your relationship with the masculine can help you to create a life that you love and truly be the person you want to be, living your life in true alignment. That sounds pretty great, doesn't it? Helen is currently taking on one-to-one clients if you listen to this episode and you want to reach out. And she provides intimate and intuitive coaching sessions that are personalized to you. She also offers a free discovery call so you can get to know her and discuss what you want to work on so that she can tell you which of her services is the best option. But in this episode, we cover many different subjects, all of which I love hearing about, learning about, and talking about. So initially we discussed Helen's journey because she's gone from being a geography teacher in high school to a life coach and practitioner working in all of these very holistic modalities. She discusses how doing personal development work and going through all of this stuff herself has actually made her a better parent. At the time of recording, she was heavily pregnant, I think about 8 months pregnant with her baby girl. And I'm guessing by the time she's had this, the baby has been born. So congratulations, Helen. So we discussed how it's made her a better person all around, better mother, lover, and friend. We discuss favorite feminine energy tools, how to romanticize our lives more and why that's important, what manifestation is and how to do it, and what somatic healing is and what to expect during a session. So again, really love this, and I'm sure that you will as well. So I won't leave you waiting any longer. Let's get into this episode with the amazing Helen Geay. Hi, Helen. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
I'm so excited to chat with you again. I know we had a call the other week just to meet each other virtually because we both met. I've just explained in the intro. I kind of got your name from one of Monica Yates's course. We were both on that, and then you went on to do another one. I went on to do the business course that she had. So we're both big fans of Monica. But yeah, I just resonated with you, I think, as a fellow Northern gal in the personal development, health, well-being world. But no, I realised you're living in France. But I'm like, I want to chat with her, see what she's all about. So we had a good natter the other week, and I was like, I want to come on the podcast and chat a little bit more with us. So yeah, welcome to the podcast. And I'd love for you to go deeper into your journey. So how you went from a teacher, and were you a high school teacher?
I was, yeah.
High school teacher to life coach. So kind of on similar lines. I wouldn't say it's a complete 180 shift in terms of career. Still kind of guiding and coaching and all of that. But yeah, what was that transition like?
So this is the most pivotal part of my life, I reckon, because first of all, it's completely changing careers. And I think as soon as I did one of those courses with Monica, as soon as I did Queen Alchemy, and as soon as I had really got into the self-development world, I realized that I wanted to become a life coach. So that's why I then ended up doing Monica's certification as well, because it was so holistic and it touched on so many different things, from masculine and feminine energetics to trauma healing to hormones, like you name it, health, everything was included. And I just knew I needed to do it. And I said to my husband, I was like, what do you think? Can you see me doing it? Because I definitely can see myself coaching people for a living. And he was like, yes, you've got to do it. This is you, this is your calling. And it's so funny because everyone always says to me, you are just 100% in the right job right now. Amazing. It's as if it found it. Yeah, it was as if it found you. So I really went into it because of my own experience, really. So the reason I got into this world is because I couldn't get pregnant, and I realized that there must be something else. I felt like my life had always been at like a million miles an hour. I felt like my career and just my life in general was all constantly burning me out, and I just intuitively kind of thought that maybe that was one of the reasons why I couldn't get pregnant. So that was one of the reasons I went on to do all of these courses and to learn a lot more about myself. And I ended up getting really into my feminine energy to the point where by people were noticing that I was different, and I felt much more myself, and I felt much more like I was really in control of my own body and my own mind. So that's how I got into coaching, was just for the fact that I couldn't get pregnant. I'd been on the pill for 10 years, and I realized that something in my life needed to change in order for me to allow my body to feel safe enough to get pregnant.
And you did
So I
fall
did.
pregnant, didn't you? And now you're
Yeah, so I
pregnant again.
did. Yes, and now I'm pregnant again. So yeah, this time around, I got pregnant without even thinking about it. Basically, it was as if my body, after all of the work that I'd done, was completely cleansed and clear. I also had like additional energy healings, because one of my friends is an amazing energy healer, and she did a lot of work on me as well. So through just getting to know my body and being able to release any suppressed emotion, and through just really looking at my health like in detail, what is health is in physical, mental and spiritual, it's just allowed me to get pregnant again for the second time around. So no, we're really, really happy. And yeah, this work, you know, it definitely 100% works.
And did you have
And
any
I'm proof of that.
specific blocks or anything related to pregnancy the first time that you had to uncover? Or was it mainly just like you were in a job that wasn't fitting and you were more in that masculine energy?
I think it was multiple reasons. I think it was the fact that I've been on the pill for 10 years, which just ruins your hormones and your health just in general, as
You
you
go on
know.
it to like prevent pregnancy, then you come off it hoping to fall pregnant and you can't a lot of the time.
Absolutely. And I honestly, I thought I was going to get pregnant like dead quickly. And I think that's the fear that a lot of women have, you know? It's like, I've got to take the pill, I have to take it, otherwise I'm going to get pregnant. And then, you know, my life's going to get ruined and all of this jazz. But really, you know, it's not actually like that. It's just the fact that it's really a quick fix for doctors just to be like, here's the pill, you won't get pregnant, you can have sex as much as you want, and there we go. Nothing is talked about the risks, nothing is talked about in terms of the effects that it's going to have later on in life. And yeah, I realized, even though I had like a couple of friends even telling me over those 10 years, like, oh, should you really be on the pill? Like, it's not, you know, it's not great for your health and your hormones and stuff. And it's true. It's absolutely true. So I think being on the pill just completely like kind of damaged my health in lots of different ways. So it was that, but then it was also focusing on the feminine and the masculine, because I was so heavily in my masculine energy. It meant that I had like so many protective walls up, and I was totally not in my feminine, to the point where that was also making me ill. It was burning me out, you know, huge amounts of just like cortisol release every single day, just, and that's how I've been living ever since, you know, I was like a teenager, really, when I think about it.
And the pill just exacerbates that, doesn't it? Puts you in more of
Yeah.
that masculine energy, it shuts down
Yeah.
your natural female hormones and fluctuations and different like energy we have throughout the month, the different superpowers that we have during the month. I was on it for 2 years, and those 2 years like messed everything up. It wasn't the only cause. I'm not going to blame everything that was health-wise wrong with me on the pill, but it definitely like just made everything a million times worse. and we never get warned of any of these side effects. They might just tell us we have a slight increased risk of blood clots, or they warn you if you have like strong family history of breast cancer, but nothing on the effects that it has. I didn't even know what it did. Like, we didn't get taught this stuff, did we? Especially at school. And I'd love to know, with your previous career as a teacher, what did you think about the curriculum and what these kids are learning? And what would you love to see in schools? What would you love for them to be teaching about?
Well, I've got the hindsight of being a teacher in the UK and also in Europe, so
is it pretty similar across Europe as well?
I mean, I could honestly say that it's kind of like non-existent in terms of what girls are taught in terms of education towards anything to do with the pill and contraception, and how women can like really look after themselves. And I think that's something that's really missing in all types of education. And I've spoken to a lot of colleagues as well who've taught across different continents across the world, and I really do think it's missing pretty much globally. And I know this because we're only just finding out about this, you know, like this is new, like this is all of these things that we should know as women. So masculine and feminine energy, contraception, like how to look after our bodies, what to do when you're on like a certain week in the month, when you're in your luteal phase, for example, or follicular phase, you know, all of those things can drastically improve a woman's life, and yet we don't talk about it. So I think there's a huge improvement to be made in education globally in regards to specifically women's health.
Yeah, and I know you're having a daughter with your next baby, so you're going to be teaching her all of that stuff. So yeah, it's not in schools at the moment, but we can do the work, and when we work on ourselves, we can pass that on to our kids. I know you did a blog post on that recently about how your personal development journey really helped with that. So yeah, I'd love to know how it's made you a better parent.
Yeah, and it's funny you should mention about having a daughter, because that's something that I'm thinking often about, because I know that my doing the inner work has really helped me communicate with my son Jackson, and I know that I now have the knowledge as well to pass on to my daughter about all of these things about women's health as well. But I think the main thing about with raising children and doing the inner work is that you're so connected to yourself, like afterwards, like you're so connected to yourself, you are so connected to your own emotions, and you're so clear, and you have so much clarity about your behavior and how you're actually behaving day to day. So for example, before I did the inner work, I could very easily like come home and just be like running around the house. Like I wouldn't even give like a second thought about sometimes even having like a conversation with anyone. I was just like, I just need to like do X, Y, and Z, and then I'd be so exhausted by the end of the day. I'd probably like have like an argument with my partner, for example. This was like quite a few years ago, and then I'd like give him some silent treatment, and the atmosphere would just be like not a loving, like calm, peaceful atmosphere. And I really do feel after doing the work and being coached that I'm in a space where I can recognize my own triggers, I can recognize my own emotions, and I'm a lot more honest about how I feel, and I communicate how I feel all the time. Like if I'm not feeling great, like you'll know it, and it's because I want to share that with you, and I want to tell people what's going on. And similarly, if I'm in like a really happy mood, like you know it too, and it's great because there's no guesswork between me and my husband. He knows exactly what's going on. I know exactly how he feels, and we're constantly communicating. And I know that that's something that's helped us raising our children as well, because
kids pick up on that energy, don't they?
Kids pick up on energy. So. Yes, totally. Like you don't even have to speak, and they know exactly how you're feeling. So I think it's partly that, it's partly about being present as well, like when they're playing, and just really trying to be as present as possible with them. obviously they can play independently as well. You know, you don't have to be with them 24 hours a day. You know, you also have other stuff to do, like, you know, cook their dinner and stuff like that.
But it's your chance to
But
be a bit of a kid as well and get that
mm,
playfulness and fun back in your life. Like,
oh
everything's
yeah,
so serious.
yeah,
So I just
no,
can't wait for that
absolutely,
part of my life, just to like be a little kid again and play on the floor. And well,
yeah.
I mean, I could do that now. I don't really need kids to do that. But yeah, it's just it sounds like an exciting time just to reconnect and get back to like
Yeah,
kind of
it's
nature.
it's such an easy way to get into your inner child. And yeah, like you said, like even as an adult, I would really advocate doing things which connect you with your inner child that you used to love to do when you were younger. I think that is so therapeutic. And yeah, it's a little bit easier when you've got kids,
You've
because you're
got an
constantly
excuse
doing
then
like
to be a little bit
stupid
of a
stuff.
weirdo.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it brings out the weirdo in both of us.
And most
So
people know, like with relationships, the key to a healthy relationship is communication. But I think,
yeah.
especially like a male and female heterosexual relationship, the way
Mm-hmm.
that women and men communicate is completely different. So if
Yeah.
like two women were giving each other the silent treatment and we're a little bit off, like we would understand because we know what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Whereas men, they just like their brains are different. Like you need to like be more specific and clear and get to the point and tell them exactly what you need, what you're feeling, and not just beat around the bush and give them like some huge explanation, because their brain is literally just going to turn off, isn't it? So what have you learned about the communication specifically with your partner?
So much. And this, I think like this is the work that can save a lot of relationships as well, when you are in a relationship which has taken a nosedive, which where you don't feel heard. Like there's so much work that you can both do to really understand like how to communicate better. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Men love knowing what's going on in your head, and we do have very different brains. Like we communicate differently. So you telling your man exactly what he needs to know and hear, it just takes the guesswork out of it again. Like, and men don't like to guess. They like to know how you're feeling. They like to know, you know, what to do. Like, if you need him to do something, like tell him. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get annoyed because he hasn't emptied the dishwasher. Like, tell him if you need him to empty the dishwasher because you don't have time, or because you're just sick of doing it. Just say, oh hey babe, can you just empty the dishwasher for me today? And it's not an issue. And if it is an issue, then obviously there's deeper work that needs to be done there.
Yeah,
But
they
I
usually
think,
happily help instead of you being like
yeah,
passive aggressive with it.
yeah, totally. And you know, just like I said, it just takes all of the guesswork out, which men absolutely hate. So just tell him exactly what you need, and like I said, communicate on a daily basis. And sometimes, and this is something that I was actually talking about with my husband the other day, you know, sometimes it's not easy to be open, you know, especially if you're not used to being open with them. And it can be quite scary, but once you start, a bit like anything, once you really start to do it, you'll realize that, you know, everything is fine. He's actually quite happy that you are talking to him, and that you are being open with him. I would say the only thing to mention is timing. So you've got to be careful about when you actually do that. You know, there's certain times in the day where, you know, deep and meaningful conversations could
Mm.
probably wait.
No, and he's had like a really long, hard day at work, or just before you're about
Yeah.
to go to sleep and you're in bed. Like,
Oh,
no,
that's the
yeah,
worst.
timing and place and all of that is really
And
important.
oh my God, I've been so guilty of that as well in the past, where you've brought something up when you're in bed just about to fall asleep. It's the worst. It's the worst idea
Don't do it,
ever.
people.
Do not do it.
And is your husband into like this whole world? Did you meet him before all of this, like the old you, or have you like transformed together?
I actually met him when I was I, 4 months after I'd like really hit rock bottom in my life. Like there's a lot of things that went down. There's a lot of nasty relationships I got into, and I had to literally rediscover myself. I was severely depressed. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. I was going to work crying every day, and I remember I had to move out of my mum's house and move into like literally a random house with two guys who I'd never met before, just to isolate myself and just to be with who I was right there. And then from there, I rebuilt who I believed that I was. And then 4 months later, after writing down everything that I wanted to find in a man and in a partner and in a husband, I met him.
You manifested him.
And I manifested him, and I knew that he was like, I knew that I could marry him. I don't like to say that, like, I knew that he was the one, because that needs to work on like both sides on, and it's not the right timing for them. It might be the right timing for you, but it's not the right timing for them. So I was conscious of, in my head, I was like, oh my God, yeah, you asked me to marry you tomorrow, I absolutely would. And also, if you don't want to do that, and if you just want to, if this is what it is and it's been like lovely and you want to move on and we're not for each other right now, then like that's okay as well. And I
So
feel
that definitely would have helped him. Like, if you're not, when someone's like so clingy, like, oh my God,
yeah,
please marry me, they will probably get turned off by that.
absolutely. And that's when I realized that I'd come so far, because I have been through like all of the attachment styles you can think of. I've, been anxiously attached, and really, really badly anxiously attached, like in a very, very toxic, like narcissistic relationship. And I've been in a secure relationship with a man who was in his feminine, because I was so in my masculine, and that's why I attracted at the time. Because when women are heavily in their masculine, they do tend to attract the feminine man. And because I'd done this work on myself, it meant that I could then bring in a more masculine man into my life, who could lead me and who could really provide me with that support, so I could drop into my feminine. So I believe I met him at the right time, and the rest is history.
And is he into this work?
He is. He's now, I wouldn't say he's ever done anything on the level that I've done it, but he is so willing to listen, and he is so
like, when you're being the example and you're doing all of this work, he's going to be hearing and responding, and you being in your feminine is going to make him more in his masculine. So it is benefiting from like dilution.
No, totally. And I think he's very intrigued by what I do, and he 100% believes in what I do, and believes in me as well, which is so lovely. And he's definitely got an appreciation for it, for sure. It's just not on the scale of my kind of
your
like
level.
woo vibes.
Not yet, anyway. You never know. He might be.
You never know. I'm open. I'm open to that.
Course. And speaking of manifestation, if that's like a brand new word to someone, I talk about it all the time with even health stuff. But what exactly is manifestation when you say you manifested your partner? And are there any other examples of things that you've manifested over the years?
The partner is definitely my husband's definitely the biggest one. Yes, other things have been this change in career. I've actually got a piece of paper in this room somewhere from 2015, which was again before I met Julian, and it said that I wanted to have my own business. And I didn't know what it was going to be or what it was going to look like, but I knew that teaching was very important to me, and I also knew that there was more for me than what teaching was giving me at the time. Like, it's a very all-encompassing, intense career, and you need to give everything. Like, you either give everything or nothing at all. Like, it's, these children are relying on you to educate them, and it's the type of job that you have to go all in on. And I knew that health wise, and with me being the way I am, a bit of a workaholic, I couldn't stay in that profession forever. So I knew a long time ago that I wanted to have my own business, because it really intrigued and interested me. And I also wanted to have the freedom to be able to build something that was my own, and then also have the freedom to live my life as I would like it around the business. Because working for somebody just wasn't going to work long term.
Yeah, there's a certain personality and it's just not a good fit.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think I'm that category as well.
Yeah, because you're a manifestor as well in human design,
generator.
Right? Manifesting generator.
No, just generator.
Oh, you're a generator. Oh, sorry, I don't know why. I thought you were a manifestor. Yes, we've got two different designs on the call today. So yeah, so definitely.
And what does that mean if someone's brand new to this human design?
So I mean, I'm not an expert in human design, I'm going to be honest.
And I have done a podcast on it, like years ago. I had an expert guest.
Go back and listen to the podcast,
if
guys.
someone's there. But yeah, as a generator, I think that is the most common one. We're kind of like the worker bees of the society. So I could, if I'm lit up by something, I could work all day, every day, and be absolutely fine. But I have to be like excited with the project. So I only know my own category. So I'd love to know yours.
Yeah, and for a manifestor, it's about, first of all, knowing what you want to manifest and bring into your life, and then it's also about being in the peaks and the flows of workflow. So I'm not technically meant to just be working solid like all of the time. I've got to listen to my body, and I've got to slow down and speed up. And when I get those sparks of inspiration, I've got to go. And then I allow myself to relax back into my body and allow, like another creative flow to come, and then I go with that one. So
it could tie into like the menstrual cycle as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it does, and I feel like it does. And obviously, I'm pregnant at the moment, so I don't have. I'm still trying to stick to those weeks, but it's
like the moon,
a little bit
the
more,
moon cycle.
I'm sticking to the moon. Yeah, and yeah, it's a little bit different, but in general, yeah, it's a really interesting design, and it's funny because my son is also a manifestor as well, so I keep saying like little traits.
Oh my god, yeah,
little traits, little mini me traits in him, which is really, really funny. But if you're listening and you don't know what human design is, definitely go and check it out, because it's such an interesting like concept.
I agree.
It's amazing.
And with manifestation, I love your story about you writing down your goals. And you don't have to be like super clear and exact. It's all about the feeling, isn't it? How you want to feel. So the fact that you just said you want to own your business and left it open-ended, that meant that the perfect opportunity would come in. Whereas if you're fixated on this one thing, it might not be in your path. So that can kind of throw it off. So yeah, we always say go off how you want to feel, and just visualize that instead of like, I want this material object, this car in this color. You just want to say, I want to feel safe and supported. I want to feel like luxurious, whatever. You can manifest all different things. So yeah, do you have any other tools or tips for manifestation for those who want to get more into it and maybe manifest the partner of their dreams?
I think definitely what you said about the feeling is really super important. And, if you do have a clear vision, that's totally fine as well. I just think we need to have some sort of a vision, and then feel what that would be like, so we can step up into the frequency of that person. And then we almost would benefit from just like forgetting about it afterwards and not being totally attached to the outcome, because and this is a feminine thing too, like when we're in our feminine, we can detach from the outcome, and we can allow the outcome to come to us because we're attracting and we're receiving, and it might look a little bit different to how we envisioned. And it might be, I like to say, like it's always better than you think it's going to be, which I think is a really, really nice thing to practice. So other than practicing gratitude every day and integrating it into your daily life, I think that's super important as well, because this needs to be a lifestyle practice, and you need to refer back to it often, and then you need to almost forget about what you want to manifest and just take little steps towards what you want to bring into your life. And if you want to get even closer, say if you do want to like have a certain car, go and test drive the car. You know, if you want to buy a certain house, go on like a house viewing, which is very similar to the house that you want to buy. Because when you are in the actual environment, you are able to like really know what that feels like. So having experience of what it feels like can allow it to just become so real for you, so real that there's no way it could never possibly happen.
Do you ever see it though with people, they do all the journaling and the affirmations, like I am healthy, I am like successful, I am this, I am that, but they have like a block, so the manifestations don't actually come through. If they have
Yeah.
an actual like belief that they're not worthy of that, or that being rich and successful is a bad thing, you're never going to call that in, are you? So how do we work on that part of it? Because some people might be listening saying, like, I've tried it before and it's not working. Even with that though, you need to give things time. It will all happen in divine timing. But yeah, there's some like limiting beliefs, and how do we work on that?
Yeah, divine timing is definitely something that is a reality. And also I think everyone would benefit from doing this inner work. So the type of life coaching that I do is based all around somatic healing tools, pretty much. Yes, we do the mindset work, and yes, we do the journaling and like all of that sort of stuff, but the majority of clients that come to me, like they've already done all of this stuff. They've read all the books, they've listened to podcasts, they've done the journaling, they're clear on what they want to manifest, and they need help and support in actually releasing the limiting beliefs from their body. Because you can say I'm beautiful as much as you want, but if you don't believe it in your body, it's, you know, everything starts with you. If you don't believe it, then you're never really going to truly believe it. So we need to go in the body, and we need to actually look at your subconscious beliefs. Like, do you actually believe that you are beautiful? Like every single part of you. Is that what you really believe? And if you don't, then that's where we can do like the energy work to release from certain parts of the body that might have suppressed certain events that have happened, like childhood experiences, or even an event that's happened, like with a colleague, for example. Like any suppressed emotion can manifest in having multiple different limiting beliefs, and can manifest in physical health issues, and just really hold you back from what you want to bring into your life.
So what would this look like? I know you probably have like a toolkit of different things based on the person, the personality, the situation. But yeah, let's maybe take that example of someone who has some skin issues, and they are doing all of the internal stuff, the right diet. They're trying to do affirmations and visualize the skin that's clear. But if they have in the back of their mind that it's kind of like a protection mask, I see that's a common one with skin issues and acne, or they don't want to show their true self, or they don't feel safe for whatever reason to show who they are. How would you guide someone like that through your different tools and services? Is it some sort of visualization? Is it kind of like hypnosis to some level?
Yeah, so we start with, I always place my clients into a meditation / hypnosis, but it's not a hypnosis like people think it's a hypnosis, you know, like with the pendulum, and then they sit, and then their head just flops,
to like turn into a chicken or something.
Yeah, that is not the kind of hypnosis that I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting your brain on a completely different wave. So when we're on the alpha wave, we can really connect with different parts of our body in a very different way than when we can, you know, when we're in reality in the 3D. So we need to put ourselves into a certain brainwave in order to access these parts of ourselves that are essentially hidden. And if someone came to me like with a skin issue, yeah, you're right, it can be a protection mechanism. There's also multiple different reasons for that as well. And what I would do is I would take them back to where that may have originated from. we would also do some breath work around that as well to like really really release those emotions and look at what the limiting beliefs are behind this possible this possible like skin complaint, whatever it might be. And yeah, it's funny, I had a client recently who yeah, she suffered with her skin for a long time, and she actually said to me like, this is the one thing that has really helped it, because it's not only has it helped me release it from my body, but it's also helped me understand that my skin breakouts are actually it's a warning to me. So when I have a skin breakout, it's a warning that something is not right in my body, like what's happening in my life in order for this to be coming through my skin. And for her, it was all about work, and you know, it was super interesting. But every client is different as well. Every single client has a different story, and each session is personalized to them depending on what's coming up for them at the time.
Because I can see that connection with work stress contributing to skin stuff from like a physiological aspect as well, like the cortisol and the blood sugar and insulin that's going to increase when you're stressed, and the fact that it's having an impact on your gut. But there is also that like energetic emotional component as well, and that person could be eating the most perfect diet and doing a gut healing protocol, but it's still not working, and that's where the energy comes in. And this is why I'm such a huge fan of what you're doing, which is a somatic healing, somatic therapy, as opposed to talk therapy, because that person can even understand and maybe leave the job. Like they might talk it out, understand that the job's not working, but if they had some sort of trauma from that job or some sort of bad experience, that will still live in the body, even if they move, even if they get out of that bad relationship. So it's still that physical thing that you can carry on. And that's why the hard stuff is the somatic work and bringing that back up to the surface, and working on that, rather than just doing what most people do, is going to talk therapy, which has its place. And we don't want to completely discount it, but that's why a lot of people get stuck in that hamster wheel of going to the same therapist for 10 years and might feel a little bit better, but if they bump into that person on the street that they like had an issue with in the past, or someone makes a comment, if you still get that feeling of stress and tension and anxiety, then that's a sign that it's not been healed. So this is why we do the somatic work, and that can literally like clear the trauma from your body. And it might take a while, but I know that some people have had like one breathwork session and can clear like decades worth of triggers and traumas.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Stuff.
And it can even be like a smell or a noise. It doesn't have to be, you know, someone's like slamming a kitchen cupboard, for example. It can really trigger, have a significant trigger with different people, depending on what they've been through in the past. And yeah, you're totally right. Just because it's kind of been and gone, you feel like you've dealt with it, chances are you probably haven't. So there's a lot of things which are living in people's bodies, and people are walking around thinking that they've dealt with it when actually they haven't. And over time, that's going to manifest in mental health issues and other physical issues as well.
Are there any other ways, just day to day? Because sometimes you need that professional to guide you through. It's not something that you can do on your own and Google how to do this. And I would highly recommend not doing that, because you can just like re-traumatize yourself and make things a whole lot worse. But I'm just thinking day to day, if someone is either saving to see someone or they want to do some homework alongside, what are some just day-to-day tools that we can use to regulate our nervous system and calm down that stress response a bit more?
Meditation is definitely huge, because especially if you're not used to meditation and meditating, and if you've never tried it, please go and try it. This is something which can immediately get you into your body. Now, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of people a very perfectionist about meditation. It doesn't matter if you have like thoughts going through your head. In fact, that's totally fine. It's the fact that you're actually taking time out to spend with your own body. And we do not do this enough because we live so much in our heads. And in our heads, this is where we get stuck. We start thinking about stuff, and we're so out of our body that this is what's creating most of the issues. So even just coming into your body and being able to feel the sensations when they come up is huge. So noticing like when you're you wake up with heart palpitations, for example, which is how I used to start my day all the time, because I woke up and I already knew I had a list of 20 things that I needed to do, and the sooner I got onto it the better, and once I realized like how to check in with my body and how to alchemize those emotions and those sensations I was feeling, it just allowed me to deal with each emotion as they came up. So that's the thing that I would recommend the most. If you find that really super difficult because there's a block there towards actually spending time with your own body because you've never done it before, then journaling and writing things out as well. Just journaling like how you feel, and just putting pen to paper or typing something out or doing a voice note and read it and listening to it back can be so useful, because you actually hear yourself from like a different angle and you notice actually genuinely how you're feeling. And I think talking, again, like you said, like talk therapy is definitely has its place. I think it's a really good starting point. So if you're keeping something to yourself and it's starting to really affect your daily life in terms of stress and anxiety, just confiding in someone can also be really helpful. And you can do mini breath works and things like that. And there's lots of other things that you can do in order to really check into your body. But I think coming into like this part of your body instead of being always in your head is the best thing people can do.
Do you agree that like morning time or just before bed are the most ideal times, rather than trying to block it in the middle of a busy work day, like a meditation session?
I don't think meditation has to be in like a full-on session either. I think you can, I mean, if you've got time in the morning, get up 5 or 10 minutes earlier. And I really mean like 5 minutes is all you need at the start. Like 5 minutes is better than nothing. 2 minutes is better than nothing. Throughout your day, which is what I used to do in school, when I used to go to the toilet, I used to take a really big deep breath all the time. That is okay. It's not like sitting down, close your eyes, do a meditation, but it's allowing you to just take a breath and to allow your nervous system just to calm down a little bit and get into that different state during the day. And then of a night time, I think of a night time it can be quite good, because you've obviously had a day and it's a really good way to decompress. In fact, I would say to people listening, if you have a very busy, intense job, you need to come home and you need to have some sort of cut off. I mean, even if you work from home, you're working in your own environment, so you need something to like break the day off. Otherwise, you might stay in that masculine energy. So it could be like even just lying on the bed, staring into space, like going outside and just breathing in the fresh air.
Like changing your clothes, having a shower, just like wash that energy off.
Anything. Yeah, washing the energy off. I love to do that as well. And anything which is a change from what you've been doing, that you can use as a signal to be like, okay, I'm at home now, or I finished work for the day, and just take a nice deep breath. So I think for people listening, you need to do it when it fits into your daily life. It doesn't matter if you've got kids or if you've got a really busy job. You can spend even just small pockets of time just dropping into your body.
I would honestly rather my clients do that and have these little moments throughout the day than do like a huge yoga meditation thing in the morning, but then spend the rest of the day like completely stressed out and not even taking a breath.
Yeah, time is currency, time is super precious, so we need to make it work for us. And because for some people that might look like a whole hour, meditating, yoga, etc. And for other people it's going to look different, and that's okay, because there's no prescribed rules to this
Just
at
get it
all.
done somehow. Do some sort
Yeah,
of
just
work on yourself,
yeah,
self-care time throughout the day. That doesn't necessarily mean a bubble bath. It could literally be doing some
no,
journaling, stirring off into the garden while you're drinking a cup of tea. Just anything to like center and bring
yeah.
yourself back to the present.
It needs to feel easy, and it needs to feel like it works in with your lifestyle and your day. And not everything is going to resonate with you either. And it doesn't have to, just because someone's saying, oh, you need to go and, meditate for 20 minutes doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to work for you. Maybe like a little 2 to 5 minute meditation would work for you. And then the rest of the time you want to journal, that's totally fine.
There's
So
all
you just need
different
to
types as
find,
well, isn't there? Some people might have
yeah.
gone to a full meditation class that was just too intense, too high
Mm-hmm.
level.
Yeah.
But there's also sort of apps these days, guided things. There's ones with music. There's ones that are like kind of stories that talk you through. So you're just listening to someone. That can all still count. It doesn't have to be the traditional cross-legged lotus position, chanting, all of that. It can just be anything. Having a cup of tea.
Yeah, find what works for you and then stick with that. Try something else a few weeks later if you like that. Bring that in, throw something else out. Make it fluid, make it fun, make it flow. Because if it's too hard, humans just will not stick to it.
And if it's too masculine for women as well,
Yeah.
if you set yourself like, I need to do this every day, and add it to like your to-do list, and
Yeah.
it just becomes another thing on your list to do in the day, and it needs to be more flowy, more feminine as well. So maybe pick a few things that you love to do and then switch it up. Maybe where you're at in your menstrual cycle, you might want something different. You might crave a workout in the morning or a walk outside. And then some days it might be just like sitting up in bed and doing a little guided meditation instead.
Yeah. And don't make yourself feel guilty as well for swapping and changing just because you were doing one thing one week and then another thing another week. It really doesn't matter,
And
as long as you're doing what feels good to you.
Yeah, you did a post the other week on Instagram that I loved, all about romanticizing our life. So this ties into it as well. It could just be something small, like when you're having your cup of tea or coffee, just really be present with it and really taste the flavors and inhale it and just have a little moment. But what are some other examples of how we can romanticize our lives? Because I think that ties into the feminine stuff and also the mindfulness practices.
Yeah. Oh, there are so many things. I'll tell you some things that I love to do. Getting out of my environment and to a completely different place. Putting yourself in a completely different environment just changes your whole energy and your whole body. And also treating yourself as well, and dating yourself. There's a lot of women out there, as women and men that are single, and I think just by dating yourself and really getting to know like what you like and romanticizing yourself is a huge opportunity of learning about who you are. So then when you do meet that partner that you're manifesting or pulling into your life, you are in the best possible place for them to for you to jump into a relationship with them. So I think that one's super important as well. And just romanticizing like every single moment of every day, like again making it easy for you to romanticize your life through buying yourself something. It doesn't even have to be something big. It doesn't have to be like a material thing. It can just be like some flowers or some like a nice special tea, treating yourself.
Spending that extra 50p or something on the good stuff that you really love, apart from like other than the crappy stuff that you don't even enjoy.
Yeah, totally. And I was also talking to a friend about this the other week and saying about how often do we have like so many gorgeous, amazing things like around our house. Like it could be like a certain scent, or it could be like a new notebook or a like a little like a shower gel or something like that, and it was a little bit expensive, or a hand cream, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to use that yet because if I use it, like it's going to run out, and then it's gone. It's
Or
like,
even
well,
like the
just
nice
use it.
outfits, like you buy a really nice dress and
Yeah,
you're like, I'll save this for a special occasion, but that never comes. Why don't you just wear
I
the
know,
dress
right?
every week and
Yeah, every
get your
day.
money's worth out of it that you spent this money on?
Totally. Every day can be a special occasion. Like that's how I would love everyone to live their life. Just getting up in the morning and being like, how do you want to make this day like absolutely amazing? Like putting on your best clothes, wearing the good, like, you know, the gorgeous jewelry that you've got,
Yeah, the
just
nice
because, like,
underwear, the nice
yeah,
perfume.
nice underwear. Like I'm wearing earrings and lipstick every day. Just as you know, sometimes I'm just, you know, pretty much working, but it gives you a certain vibe and a certain energy. And this is what I love to ask my clients to do, is like make a little list of all the things that they absolutely love to do that switches their energy up. Because even just you know, just drinking from like a special cup or like a nice glass, like just changes the actual action of what you're doing. And that drinking exercise you were talking about before, I absolutely love as well. And just being with the, you know, even a cup of water or a nice hot tea, and just really drinking that and just feeling it, like, you know, going into your body, like on your lips, and just really absorbing like the experience of drinking a cup of tea can be amazing.
I think any mums listening, busy mums or people working from home, like you I know it's like a little bit extra effort and time to put the makeup on, and it's not all about
Mhm.
appearance, but
No.
most people, when they have a nice outfit on, they feel good about themselves, they have their hair done, you're going to be more
Mhm.
productive, and just happier throughout the day. So I know when maybe I've got a few like emails and stuff to do. If I'm just still in my lounge stuff or my pajama bottoms or my slippers, I'm not going to be as productive as
Mhm.
if I actually get ready, pretend like I'm going to an office somewhere, because it's so easy
Yeah.
when you work from home. It's great in many ways, but it can be that either you're working all the time because you've
Mhm.
got no cut off and then you stay in that masculine mentality for the rest of the day, or you can be a little bit more of a procrastinator and you don't actually get stuff done because you're like going checking the washing machine and doing a sink full of washing up halfway
Yeah.
throughout the day. So if you pretend that you're actually going somewhere, or if you're a mum, putting that extra effort into yourself for
Mhm.
yourself is actually going to make you a better parent, because you're going to be happier in the process. But so many people are scared of investing in themselves as well. If people, when you just said about buying yourself flowers, they're like, oh, but I
Yeah.
could put that towards like the groceries for this week. How is your mentality? Because mine definitely has, especially with the course that we did, learning all about money and the connection
Mhm.
to feminine and self-love and our bodies and everything. How has your mentality with finances changed over the years?
It's changed massively, and that's just through being aware of, first of all, my money beliefs. So you need to be aware of how you feel about money before you change your beliefs to how you would like to feel about money. So once you've kind of deconstructed all of your limited beliefs towards finances and spending, that's when you can really start to put in the work to change your whole mindset around money, because it is a mindset, and also it's connected to parts of our body. So I find that, you know, doing womb healing and really working on certain parts of the body can help you really open yourself up to a different wealth frequency. Because I think spending money is one thing, but I think we all have a money blueprint as well. And this is something that we need to kind of break the ceiling of, because we've all come from childhoods where we were used to our parents like earning a certain amount of money. And it can be quite difficult for you to envisage yourself, or to even accept that you can earn more than they did. So I think there's a lot of work also to be done around that for a lot of people, just because they're not used to certain levels of wealth.
And that can come back to like a primal mindset. If
Mhm.
if we earn more, then they might disown us and it might cause arguments, and then we'll be stranded, we'll be on our own, no one will love us. Like at the end of the day, all of this comes back to like, no, you're not feeling loved in some way, and that's for a human is like the worst thing ever. It's kind of like life or death situation, so that's why it can be so stressful subconsciously for you to have these limiting beliefs. And I totally see it linked to the sacral chakra imbalances. If you think of like the chakra system, it's not only finances in the sacral chakra, but it is things like the sexuality piece, the femininity, the reproductive hormone cycle. It all goes together. And I think as you heal one, the other will heal simultaneously.
Yeah, it's all linked. It's all linked, and it's all linked to definitely parts of the body. All the things that you just talked about then, and yeah, definitely the link between money and sex and femininity and all of that being open and having an openness towards sensuality and sex, and also just being super connected to yourself can really help with your money mindset, and you actually attracting in and being magnetic towards different levels of wealth.
And money is energy at the end of the day, so it's how we like give.
That's all it is.
Receive energy. And I did Tony Robbins did like a free I don't know if you saw it, like 5-day masterclass thing in January, which was amazing. And he went through like each day there was a different subject: relationships, finances. And I remember on the finance day he was asking us to write down our limiting beliefs. He kind of guided us through and asked like 3 random questions, and one of them was about money, and it said, what is your limiting belief around money? And I didn't even realize I had it until I wrote it down. And for me, it was, I can't earn a certain amount because of where I'm from in the world, like being in the northwest of England, being a woman and being a younger person. But then I had to like find examples of all of the people who have done it, who have been in completely a million times worse situations than I have, coming from like third world countries or coming from absolute poverty, who have still been able to do it. I had to find example after example, and then I finally like broke that limiting belief through that experience. And then there's probably been other things that I had to go through again, like going based off your childhood, what your parents earned and all of that. Like I've had to work on that as well. But I find that as I just focus on giving and seeing money as not a like physical thing, it is a totally energetic thing. It's really helped grow my business and help in that side of things too. So yeah, I just thought that was a good example, and you might relate to that one as well. Yeah, really important to be more mindful of our money mindset and limiting beliefs, because so many of us have them.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I feel like my level of wealth and my ability to see what I can earn has completely shifted now that I live in the south of France, which is a very different environment, to, like you say, living in the northwest of England. And what you said about finding those examples, like there is for anything you want to work on in your life, there's always examples of people who have done it. Always people from all sorts of backgrounds.
Expanders as well is like another term, isn't it?
Yes. Oh my god, yeah. Having expanders in your life it just makes such a difference, because they are your inspiration. They are your evidence to say, like, this is possible. This is possible for you. It's possible for everybody. We're all human. We do in the Western world have a greater opportunity and access to wealth. However, there are a lot of other examples whereby people have literally come from nothing, or have come from very traumatic childhood backgrounds, and they've been able to achieve their dreams. So yeah, there's evidence all around us, and there's probably evidence in your life as well, if you really look back.
Yeah, we're
being possible.
Lucky now to have, we're not just like limited to our circle and our hometown and our parents and our friends who we went to school with. We can see examples online. Not all of it is like 100% real. Like I think people can tell the difference between people who are just completely faking it on private jets and stuff, and they literally have no money. But you can see people, you can move now and move to a better environment, or if you don't have that luxury right now, you can work on just improving your home environment and using the nicer, fancier cups and plates at meal times, just while you're working on yourself. And then if you really want to move, but we're an average of the people that we spend the most time with, so we want to make sure that those people are as high vibe as possible. And don't be afraid of calling people out when you're on your personal development journey, but they're trying to like bring you down. Sometimes you just need to like catch them, and if they are talking about how expensive things are, or about the governments and the like fuel costs and all of that, just let them know politely that you're like trying to work on this. It's not about being oblivious to the outside world and the real world, but now we're so like the news is so constant, and we're just exposed to things that we would have never known about even like a few decades ago. Like we could turn on the news and learn about what's happening at the other side of the world and all of the tragedies and hurricanes and floods and all sorts of things going on, murders, and we would have never known about that. So that's one of the reasons that I don't watch the news, but it's just being more aware of what we're exposing ourselves to in terms of relationships, environment, even our own thoughts. Just becoming a little bit more mindful day to day.
Yeah, there's so much noise out there. We've got to be really careful because we are absorbing it, like whether we like it or not. Like the amount of time you spend on, social media looking at certain accounts, and like you say, if you watch the news, it can really, really affect you day to day. So you've got to be really hyper aware on what you are consuming, because it can have a really big impact on you. I don't think a lot of people kind of realize. So even just doing like a quick little, this is your invitation to do a quick little audit of what you are consuming and what you're absorbing, because like you said, you are a product of the closest people around you, the closest like 5 people around you. And it's worth looking at who you're spending a lot of time with, because those people are having a huge influence on your life, and sometimes without even realizing it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they just spent the past hour listening to this conversation and all of the good stuff that you've shared, they're gonna, at least for the next few hours, be in a more positive, high vibe mindset. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today, and we've covered a wide range of subjects. I know that you're passionate about all of them, and you are a multi-passionate practitioner like I am. But before I let you go, Helen, I've just got a few more questions that I want to ask, just so my audience can get to know you a little bit more. First one is, what's your go-to breakfast?
My go-to breakfast,
taking care of yourself physically as well, and your baby, through your emotional work, but on a physical level, how do you nourish your body in the morning?
Porridge.
Lovely.
So porridge with like a mix of like toppings, like nuts, berries, banana, little fruits and things like that. Try and change it up. I'm lucky that Jackson absolutely loves it as well. I'm not surprised, because I had it for every morning when I was pregnant with him. So
it's DNA.
Hated porridge. So yeah, I would say porridge, and I like to have like a hot lemon water as well before anything else, just to cleanse my body and just to start off the day really well.
Amazing. Second one is, do you have a book recommendation that you could share on any of these different subjects? It could be about life coaching, feminine energy, manifestation, meditation, anything that you can share?
Yes. So at the moment, I am dipping in and out of, I've read it numerous times because I just love it. It's called Powerful and Feminine by Rachel Jane Groover. And it's all about how to access your feminine in daily life. And if you are interested in how to access your feminine, that needs to be your go-to book.
Yeah, I've not heard of that one before. I've read a few books on that subject, but that will definitely be added to my Amazon list. So thank you for that. What is one thing that you do daily? So I know that you said meditation, obviously nourishing your body. Is there anything else that you do on a daily basis to keep you in a hormonal harmony?
Yes, so I would say moving my body daily. So this could be anything from, it doesn't have to be exercise. It can also be dance. Like I love dancing. And I love dancing in the morning while I'm making breakfast to make Jackson laugh as
Oh,
well.
so cool.
And yeah, so any way you can move your body is amazing. And I would say, yeah, that's probably the one thing I do consistently every single day.
That's a good way to move that energy as well. So
Yeah,
often, if you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious,
yeah,
one of the best things you can do is move. Put on your favorite album and have a dance, or go for a power walk outside, get that fresh air, and I can
yeah.
guarantee you're going to feel at least 80% better,
I completely
if
agree.
not 100. And then very last question is, where can people find you online? So your social media, and if they want to work with you, how can they do that?
So you can find me on Instagram. So it's Helen_Geay, so Geay. And also I have a website, which is just helenjay.com. And if you want to work with me, I would say the best way to do that would be to just jump on Instagram, jump into my DMs and have a little conversation with me. I love speaking to new people and people that are interested in this work. And you can message me, voice note me, and just ask me any questions as well. I'm more than happy to answer them.
Amazing. I'll put your details in the show notes, the links and everything. And yeah, thank you again. I enjoyed chatting with you, and we could probably go on for 3 hours. And I would love to have you
Oh, we
back on
absolutely
for
could.
another episode. Maybe once you've had your baby girl, if you've got any new insights or anything else you want to share, any more passions that you're currently interested in, then we can definitely go through that. So yeah, it's nice to connect with you again, and I'm sure everyone's going to love this episode.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I would love to come on a second time if you'll have me.
Thanks, Helen. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would love for you to leave me a rating and review on your podcast app, as this helps to support the show and it allows it to reach more people with this valuable information. Come and say hi over on Instagram. I'm at Viva Natural Health. And if you haven't already, check out my website, vivanaturalhealth.co.uk, for tons more free resources and to discover how I could support you further. I currently offer one-on-one consultation packages if you want my top level support, then more affordable group programs and self-paced online courses. So there really is something for everyone. If you're ready to change and get some answers but aren't sure which option would be best, take that first step today and apply for a free enrollment call on my website, and we'll discuss the best steps for you to take in order to achieve hormonal harmony. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode.